Donald Trump is waking up in cold sweats today as new reporting out of Axios shows that 10 out of the 13 Republican voters they talked to in the swing state of Michigan regret their vote for Trump. Trump's swing voters in Michigan have buyer's remorse. I mean, at this point, it's a bit like regretting that last quarter pounder when you're in the middle of a heart attack, but we'll take anything we can get. We'll dive into this reporting and get a look at what Michigan voters are saying, but I get the feeling that it doesn't bode well for the Republicans' chances in the midterms. They've already had their red wave. But if you're enjoying the video, make sure to like the video and double check that you're subscribed. Michigan ended up being one of the most important states in the 2024 presidential election. With its 15 electoral votes and its strong Democratic history, it was seen as one of the must-win states for Kamala Harris. But because the state has a large Muslim population, especially in Dearborn, Michigan, the Biden/Harris administration's handling of Gaza soured a ton of voters against Kamala, causing most of them to just stay home and some to do the most idiotic thing for the most idiotic reason.
Why are you voting for Donald Trump?
Because my main goal is to get someone who is actively funding a genocide out of office.
Is your vote for Donald Trump a vote endorsing Donald Trump, or is it a vote against Kamala Harris?
Against Kamala Harris.
Donald Trump has said he will reinstate the Muslim ban.
He said that last time.
He's said that he wants Netanyahu to finish the job.
Donald Trump said a lot of things his first time around that terrified me. The campaign that the Democrats ran was that Donald Trump hates us. I felt safe, though, in the country when Trump was in office. I don't feel safe right now with Kamala in office. So, I mean, that to me speaks more.
Now, listen, I also do not like genocide. But Trump didn't just talk about a Muslim ban, he tried to do one. Trump isn't going to stop funding a genocide, he's going to try to take over Gaza. But this issue drove such a wedge between the voters of Michigan and the Democratic Party that Kamala lost the state. But it seems like those voters are starting to realize the errors of their ways. Trump has done so horribly in the first 50 days that the pendulum of Michigan is swinging hard in the other direction. This new poll out of Michigan says that Harris would beat Trump 48 to 41% in Michigan if elections were held today. And that's all well and good, but it's a bit too late, Michigan. And while it may be easy to blame independent or progressive voters who didn't vote, it turns out that this swing is coming from a lot deeper in the Republican base than just a single issue voter. Most Michigan swing voters in our latest focus group said that although they voted for President Trump in November, they have objections, frustrations, and fears about his behavior since he returned to power. 10 out of 13 participants from this battleground auto industry state bordering Canada said that what they're seeing isn't what they thought they were voting for, and they're worried Trump's approach may hurt their pocketbooks. Now, this is a focus group, not a full poll, so statistically this might not be the breakdown, and these voters' responses stand in stark contrast to last month's focus group with Arizona swing voters, all of whom said that they approve of Trump's earliest actions. So what are they actually saying? I don't feel like he was this aggressive last time, because I don't think anybody would have voted for him if they expected to see what we're seeing now, said Shannon B, 27. Cheryl, 44, said, he's so erratic and it's getting to the point where I'm almost scared to watch the news. I mean, it's a little bit frightening because each day is something new, so you get a little anxious. Well, geez, Cheryl, if you voted for him and you feel anxious, how the hell do you think we feel? Phil, 45, said, I mean, Canada? When have we ever had issues with Canada? We barely have a border. You can go in and out of the country and a lot of places, a lot of states. I think we're just barking up the wrong tree with this. 355 bristled at the viral image of a crowned Trump, the president's "Long live the king" comment, and Trump saying he who saves his country doesn't violate any law. He's acting like a dictator, she said. Mind you, these are coming from people who voted for him. I imagine these are straight down the ticket Republican voters, not Trump-brained maggots who want him to be a god king. These are the kind of marginal voters that are important to disproving Trump's mandate. Clearly, these people do not like and did not vote for what he's currently doing. Michael, 43, says that Trump campaigned on lowering prices and making things more affordable for working class people. He's moving in the opposite direction. He conceded that Trump had previewed tariffs during the campaign, but we didn't necessarily think it would be this much, this fast. These people are shocked at the speed in which the bullet hit their foot. I was voting for him based on the economy first time around, and I'm seeing a significant decline, says Samantha S, 31. Malia, 34, says that she fears this will eventually turn into a dictatorship. If the people that we elected for to be his checks and balances don't check and balance him, then what are they there for? Yeah, Chuck, if you're just gonna do what the Republicans say, What are you there for? Now, only one of these Trump voters say they would have voted for Kamala if they got a do-over. But if we can say that 10% of Trump voters have so much regret they'd rather vote for Kamala Harris, then I'd imagine a lot more of them would rather just stay home. What we need for the next election is the Republican version of Dearborn, Michigan. Places where Republican voters stay home and just let the blue wave wash over them. Maybe places like West Virginia, where farmers face steep losses in the middle of Trump's trade war and funding cuts. If Trump loses the farmers, the veterans, and whatever gains he made in minority communities, then he's as good as cooked. The farmers in West Virginia are saying, we're in such a state of shock. We just don't really even know how to respond to all of this. We thought this was really sacred and really untouchable. Everyone thinks all farmers voted for this, but we did not vote for this. Of course, they thought they were untouchable. The leopards sure do bite hard, don't they? Trump has acknowledged the impact of his trade policies will have on farmers, telling them in his address to Congress this month that there will be, quote, a little bit of an adjustment period, and that farmers will have to, quote, bear with me again. But farmers across the country, from small organic berry growers in Maine to large-scale hog producers in Iowa, say those policy changes could cripple their businesses if they aren't resolved soon, wreaking long-lasting damage on the U.S. agricultural industry. I think any farmer will tell you that we will take some short-term pain, but do not make this a long-term extended trade war, because that just won't be good for agriculture or for the country in general, says Bob, the Iowa hog farmer. I know that this is the way President Trump believes he's going to create better markets long-term. I hope he's correct. But my fear is that once you lose those markets to other suppliers, it's very hard to get them back. That is exactly what my point is. The United States is starting to irreparably damage our trading relationships. Mexico, Greenland, Canada, Panama, the EU, if all of them start to build trade routes around the United States, it's going to be very, very difficult for American markets to prove themselves to be reliable again. And it's not just the pointless trade wars that are affecting these farmers. They're also getting shafted by Trump refusing to pay for grants. Seth, a blueberry farmer in Maine, says it's really sent a chill among a lot of farmers. You sign a contract with the USDA, you expect that they're going to pay on it. You would never expect that they're not going to fulfill their end of the deal. It makes me worry in a broader sense about where we're headed. So much of what we do with each other is based on basic trust, and to have that be shattered is very, very worrisome. I've got 31 farmers who are pissed off, said Spencer Moss. These farmers pay their property taxes, they're business owners, and a lot of times they're commissioners or school board members. These are drivers that keep rural communities alive, so it feels like a divestment in rural communities across the board. Here's a farmer from another state, Virginia. John Boyd says, what's alarming here to me as a leader in the farm community and civil rights work is that it's the farmers that is the first getting affected, and it was the farmer that delivered for this president. They were all in for Trump, and they were the first in line to be affected. In order to get a fair price, you need good, steady markets, and the president is disrupting the market. Donald Trump can't help but stick his tiny little fingers in everybody's pie, and it looks like it won't be long now before we're all suffering. I'm Tony Hinderman with Really American, and I'll catch you next time.